Can we just start with injury updates, where the players are? Will anyone be back for tomorrow night?
After the weekend's game, obviously Josip is out with his hamstring, so he'll obviously go into rehab now for a couple of weeks. Who else was there? McCarthy's okay. He's recovered from his knock. Everyone else got through okay. In terms of the ones coming back, we've had, Cal's trained today. Kyogo trained a little today, and Georgios trained today, but I'm not really sure about tomorrow yet. We'll have to wait and see. Obviously, they haven't done a hell of a lot of training.
So in terms of tomorrow, I suppose that leaves you with limited options to change much from the weekend.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, that's kind of the cycle we've been in, so I don't expect we'll make too many changes tomorrow night. Like I said, obviously Josip's out, so and James has recovered, so we'll just have to see what we do with those positions.
Does it feel sometimes, Ange, like you just need a break? I mean, with Josip now out as well, I mean, these are coming at you thick and fast, really, aren't they?
Yeah, but it is what it is. I mean, we are going through a challenging period, and I don't think that's me trying to paint some sort of bleak picture. It's just the situation we're in. We haven't really had a chance to settle since the beginning, really, because the first phase we were bringing guys in and literally playing them without training, and then this second phase we've been hit pretty hard with injuries. But these things will happen during the season. For some clubs it happens at the start, others in the middle, others at the end. I mean, we just got to get through this period, and with the knowledge that when we do get everyone back on deck, and because we're missing significant players, it's not just the injury, and we're missing significant players in certain areas of the park, which exasperates the problem, because pretty well chronicled, particularly in the front third, that we guys like Jota and particularly Liel have just have to back up game after game after game, which is not ideal.
In terms of the Bayer game, it's obviously a huge prospect in store. In terms of the outlook on this group, does it add more pressure this time because of the Betis result, or do you see it as just a long way to go still?
No, I mean, I think you kind of know that it's going to be a challenging group, whatever the draw, but you look at the teams in our group, and Betis are a quality side, Bayer, Leverkusen obviously a quality side, and we saw with Ferencváros last year, in the Champions League, that every game is a challenge. I guess if you want to progress, the key does become your home games, irrespective of other results. If you can pick up points at home, then you give yourself a chance to progress. So looking forward to tomorrow night. They're a very good team and a great challenge for us, but in front of our fans at Celtic Park, it's a great night for us to test ourselves.
Ange, given that then, how big a step up in performance will your team need to try and get something out of this game then?
I've got to be careful how I answer this, because I like I said, I've seen things a lot differently. I know that the narrative around us at the moment is that we're struggling, but in terms of our performances, then I don't quite see it that way. But that's just me. I think we showed in the last game against Real Betis away from home against a quality team that we gave a good account of ourselves and played some great football and dominated parts of the game. We didn't get the result, but I thought it was a fantastic performance. So we know we have that performance in us, and that's what we need to do tomorrow night. Just make sure that we play our football as we have been, and be really positive about our intent, and try and take it to a good opponent.
Just on Callum McGregor, how far away is he, and were you surprised that he was named in the Scotland squad, given he's been out?
No, I mean, I think Steve Clarke said that, if Cal plays, then he'd be silly not to pick him before the window. So, I think he's taken the sensible approach, as have we. And as I said, Cal has now trained, which is good. He's trained with the group. So, we'll hopefully get him some game time. If not tomorrow, then on Sunday.
And I'd imagine you'll be looking for Cam heads tomorrow night. How have you found Joe Hart take to that role of captain in the absence of Callum?
Yeah, I think he's been great. He's obviously a very experienced guy, and but he's new to the club, and he's been really sort of respectful of the fact that he's just, come to this football club, but he also understood when we brought him in that one of the reasons was his experience. It's, we're still, the teams we're putting out at the moment are still very young in terms of experience, in terms of age, in many respects. So having someone like Joe who's played at the highest level certainly helps, and I think he's doing a good job.
I wanted to ask you as well about a comment that you made earlier in terms of the league. You said we call things early here. Have you found that immediate pressure that's kind of thrust upon you when a points gap starts to open up a bit unwarranted?
No. Look, to be honest, the only thing that I don't sort of like is the condescending nature of the questions, that somehow I don't understand that if we don't win games of football, or I just understand the magnitude of the football club, that somehow I'm in charge of this sort of rebuild and I've got no idea what the ramifications are if I don't get it right. And maybe that's the intent. Maybe people just want to be condescending. That's up to them. In terms of pressure or criticism or scrutiny, that's fair enough. That's what people who are passionate about the game will do when they analyse a team, and I've got no issue with that. In terms of calling it early, I see no reason why you'd be declaring somebody a champion in September when you've got 30-odd games to go.
Just going back to the team there, you said that the performances have been reasonably positive, and there's no doubt, just looking at Sunday's game, you created loads of chances. Is it just kind of the cutting edge in the final third that's lacking at the moment? Do you think that's the only difference?
Yeah, look, that's definitely an area that, and again, you've got to go back to, as I said, we just haven't had a chance to sort of freshen some of these guys up, So, the likes of Jota, Leal, even Albi, Ajeti, they're playing game after game, and in the front third that, as you said, you need that cutting edge. So we're creating bags of opportunities, but we're lacking a little bit of sharpness that we had, a few games earlier. But that was because, people. I get it, we live in an instant world, and yesterday is like 30 million years ago. But, when we were going through that patch, I had Kyogo and I was throwing on Hodgson as a change-up, that's a pretty good front line to have, and we were scoring goals. So, we haven't had that luxury. So, like I said, I think our performances have been okay. Definitely in the front third, we've just lacked a little bit of energy, I think. But that's, again, it's understandable considering the load we've put on the players we've got there.
And just going back to tomorrow's opponents, Bayer Leverkusen, what kind of team specifically do you think they are? Obviously, you've been looking at them a lot over the last few days. And do you consider them as group favourites? They won their first game, obviously playing the Bundesliga, and many people see them as a Champions League level team.
Well, they certainly are. They've got, they're side of great pedigree, and they're got outstanding individual players. Within their setup, they're a fairly settled team. Not a lot of changes from last year, and they're a quality team. They're one of the best teams in Europe, and they probably see themselves as a Champions League team. So, in terms of favourites in the groups, though, like I said, I think Betis are a very good team. Ferencváros certainly gave Leverkusen the contest in the first game. So, that'll all bear out over time. But there's no doubt, quality opponent, quality footballers, and a good challenge for us.
Can I just rewind a wee bit? You mentioned there McGregor, Kyogo and Giakoumakis all trained. Is there a possibility that all three of them could start tomorrow?
There was zero possibility all three will start tomorrow. Is there a possibility they'll get some game time tomorrow? Yes, there is. But again, I just got to be careful that, we just got to make sure, like I said, they train today. We've got to make sure, see how they pull up, see how they feel. I'll have a chat to them. I'm keen to get them some game time before the break. Obviously, Cal's going away with the Scotland team. Kyogo's been selected in the Japanese team. So, we need to sort of assess where they're at. So getting him some game time makes sense. And with Georgios, because he's had an interrupted pre-season, we certainly got to be careful about his introduction. But keen to get him some game time, whether that's tomorrow or Sunday, we'll see.
Now, Leverkusen, Ange, are a high-tempo attacking side, very similar to the way you like to play football. It looks as though it could be quite a game tomorrow night.
I hope so. Yeah, I mean that's my hope, and we want to take it to them, and they can certainly take it to us. So we're going to get tested, and hopefully it's a great sort of game of football for our supporters to sort of get excited about, and hopefully we play our part in that.
Ange, can I just ask? You mentioned earlier about that there's a thought maybe that people think you don't understand what it means if you drop. Is that a frustration for you that you think there is a mindset out there that people don't think you understand what it means to is it manage at Celtic or win at Celtic? Or
like I said, it's not a frustration. It's just like if the intent is to be condescending towards me and who I am in my career, then I guess they're achieving their point. I guess my point about all that is that I'm not going to change my approach because people keep talking about the fact that there's pressure and it's Celtic. I mean, I took that task on board when I accepted the position, and I've been given the responsibility to rebuild a team that, hopefully will be successful, not just this year, for years to come. And every decision I make is with that purpose. But I don't do that, living in some bubble where I don't realise that if it doesn't go well, that, the responsibility won't lie with me. I totally understand that. So why people would think that, as I said, that... I don't think people think that. I just think, like I said, I think some people, not all, some people have been fair with their criticism, scrutiny, but I think some people just want to be condescending towards me. They have been from day one. They probably don't think I deserve to be in this spot, and that's fine. I mean, it's kind of neither here nor there for me.